Hey everybody, my name is the Pastel Prince, this is HuniePop. Now we got the obvious out of the way, let's get down to business. Alright, one of my favorite things about this game has to be definitely the character lineup of the game, because pretty much for a hentai game it's mostly based in Japan, so you'd pretty much just only have Japanese characters. However, you have some people like Kiana, Lola, Aiko, Belly, and then the three aliens and a cat, which is like, why? But, hey, diversity. So the characters might still have round faces and black and huge eyes. If like still the characters are pretty diverse in their own way, which I pretty much appreciate for that. Like just the style wise and everything. And for the special characters themselves, they're actually kind of like nice, not DLC characters, but just hidden characters in the game itself. Like Mom, for example, pretty much was just talking about how what cats do, and how like other options of the sorts. Like she's cute when you get to used to her, but like the option for is bestiality. Like why? Like for the beginning of the game, actually, it's pretty cool that you can actually choose between a male and a female. The only sad part about this thing is that if you chose the female option, it's just going to be she pronouns, and then if you choose male, it's male pronouns. So you're not having a different experience overall. So you may as well choose one or the other if you want. And like the typical tutorial setting is like, you think it's gonna be boring, and then you see these text options right here, and it's like, really? I'm like, hi, hello, and like, who am I, Tina Belcher? Okay, and just it's pretty cool for like the whole like tutorial setting to be like to immerse you into the whole experience of it, because this is pretty much the whole game when you see all these weird text options and you see the whole like hilarious fairy. It's pretty like it's just the funny part of the game. Like my favorite part of the game is definitely the dialogue, just from how you can just choose from these hilarious options, and they still never get old. I still laugh at some of these things, and I've played this game since it came out. But kind of like cool thing about this thing, it's not like a point that I care about, but it's still like, hey, like not bad. It's the Q introduction. It's like how they explain how Q is like that. How Q is different was like she is a fairy, so therefore she can change her form and do whatever the hell she wants. Like that's pretty a typical hentai thing where it's just a simple explanation. However, they make it kind of funny and works around the lore of the land, I guess, because they're the Neko, an alien, and Venus, for God's sakes. So, hey, it works for me, it works for you, I guess. Anyway, so when you get to actually like the talking parts of the game, when you got to talk to the characters, like for instance Belly, like you have to just remember the characters' personalities, which is a pretty good way to like for the game itself, because like most characters are just like, oh, you can just do this and that and you're fine. But for the characters, you actually have to remember some things and just keep in mind who you're talking to. Like, but that's kind of like where the game kind of stops for that. And then you have the honeybee, which is basically like a smartphone, which is kind of cool for like the object of the game, because the game has like the sort of iPhone sort of feel, and then like the thing itself has just the details for you, so if you leave and come back, you can just remember the people, so you don't have to have a massive brain to remember the game itself. And like just keep in mind that the characters have different likings to it, so when you actually play and go on dates with them, you have to remember all those things. And like if you have to like get stuff for them, they have it right there. Like pretty typical for hentai games. However, still a good part about this little thing, like my little like nugget of happiness, is the traits, because if you don't upgrade these traits, you actually don't get that far in the game, and it just helps you out faster. It helps you get faster in the game itself, which I find really cool. Like, and like for the chat options, like it's still like it's not hard to get around these chats, though. Like I still find it funny if you wanted to cheat, you can't, because it's like specifically says an I try shooter. Like, but like for my one critique about this whole chat option thing is like in this situation when you talk to Lola, you don't have to do anything. You just click around and you're fine. I chose 3 different options for her, and then she fell in love with me. And like I kind of wish it was not like that, where you can just talk to her and you have to like make her like you. Like, of course, it's sort of that way anyways, but if I blindly chose 3 different options and it was fine. So that's like also for this one with Audrey, which would assume that she would be the hardest to pick for. And like talking about going to university, and you said you're fine if you're smart, and then she doesn't like you, and then like the next option is like you choose it right, and then she loves you like nothing ever happened. So I kind of wish that there was a sort of karma to the situation. Like also, if you just chose an option, like if you're getting the review stages, or if you just don't, you have like that one thing you don't have and you don't remember it and you can't check it because it's gonna make think you're cheating, so you just choose the wrong option and they're like all they are is sad. It doesn't help, it doesn't hurt you in the overrun of the games. Let's go back to the gifts real quick. The gifts options is not a huge part of the game, but I still kind of like it because you can still give stuff to the people, because I'm a little sugar daddy myself, so I like giving people gifts. And so, like, that's a fun part of the game, but I hate how it's just a small part of the game, and like they don't really care about them, like, because you see right there, she doesn't, like, it's just gonna be the same thing over and over again, and nothing really about the game is like that.
So much.
She doesn't really care about it, so it's just, again, a yes bot. It's not an actual AI, it's just it's a good thing, so she's gonna say yes. And also, this kind of annoying part, but sort of a good way to make sure you have the money intact, is giving them food. I don't know how many hentai games actually have this, or games in general that require, like, dating. But it's a good thing to have that sort of thing to make sure you keep your money intact and make sure you don't lose it all or spend it all on gifts. That's just, it's not a huge option in the game, or just a big thing in general, but I find it, like, it's a good thing to make sure you don't waste all your money. The one, like, my favorite part of the game, like, I like all the small parts about this game, pretty much. Nothing really big, except for, like, the whole Bejeweled option. Like, the clothing you get for it. The clothes are actually, like, a really cute option for it. I know that most hentai games, you can create your own thing, where you can make the character wear whatever you want. In this game, it's no exception. You can make them choose bikinis if they want to. But also, you can change their hair and make their different lengths if you want to. And like see all these options right here. She has a cute little kitty. She has a rough coat, and then she has her kimono. Which I'm not sure why she has a kimono, but I'm not gonna go there. But like it's just a nice option. Like if you don't particularly like their first options, you can go after. You can like go on dates, and then you can say, "Oh, I like this clothes." So you can make her wear it all the time. Of course, everyone's gonna choose something like what Celeste usually wears, which is exposing everything except the nipple and the actual groin. She's like, oh great, okay. And then like there's options for them too. It's like they all vary between different characters. Like like Celeste over here has pretty revealing options, but like except for sort of this one, and her hair options are pretty diverse, and they all have. Aubrey over here has the weirdest and drastic changes in her hair. I'm like, if she was a real person, I'm not sure how her hair would still be intact. And like it's just a really also same sort of style but different clothing options, which is pretty cool. And then you actually go on the dates. The dates are one of my favorite parts again, like I mentioned before. And like I like how you have to actually have some sort of strategy to the game, because like for Kiana instance, she mostly interested in the talent option. So you mostly would have to rely on talent instead of romance. So that you just have to keep that in mind when you go play the game. Like, and also for Momo, she likes romance, which is kind of opposite of Kiana. So you have to just remember that when you're playing the game. Also, the items option really helps later on in the game when you like have to get points really quickly. So like that's a godsend, especially with the talent option. And then the broken hearts options do not really hinder your growth in the game at all. Like, they take off 2 points, which I guess in, like, if you have one move left and you have no joy tokens, I would understand. But other chances, it's not much at all. You don't lose much to it. Though also, like, the game characters choose different outfits for the occasion. Like, if you're going to the beach, you're going, obviously, wear a bikini. But if you go on to a really nice date, like Audrey over here, she wears her Lolita dress. I find that really interesting. And like the options right here are pretty like forgiving. Like I'm glad you can't go everywhere on the board, but you can go across and down, sort of. And then you have the sex option. Ugh. I really hate this option really, because like it's really hard. It's like, not hard to do, but it's just a lot of effort to do in a very short period of time, and you have to like make it really fast to make a lot of combos. And then this happens. Like, what's enjoyable about this? You're like focusing on the game, and you can't focus on the girl at all. And then they're loud, especially Audrey. God, Audrey. And then this, like the typical anime scene on there. So it's like it's not really enjoyable. But for overall in the game, like I love how different it is, just in that sort of aspect. For like if you like play a hentai game and you're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be the same old thing. This actually is not for some reason, and that's what I particularly like about it. Like, they actually have nice characters. The characters have somewhat of personalities. Like, I really wish they had more to the characters instead of just saying like, instead of being yes bots, because like that kind of bothers me after you like play the game for a while and you realize there's nothing to it. But like other than that, and HuniePop is just a great game that you can play like if you're just bored or you're lonely, like most people I know. You know you're out there. Other than that, it's a great game, and thank you guys for taking the time to stop and watch this. You're awesome, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.